Hi everyone. Today we'll look at the properties of water from AQA Topic 1. In this section, we'll cover the 5 biologically important properties of water that are listed in our specification. Within this, we'll also look at hydrogen bonding, condensation reactions, and hydrolysis reactions. We refer to water as a polar molecule. What this means is within the covalent bond between the oxygen and hydrogen atoms, the electrons are not shared equally. This leaves the oxygen atom slightly negatively charged, while the hydrogen atoms have a slight positive charge. We can refer to this as delta positive or delta negative. The slightly positively charged hydrogen ions can be attracted to slightly negative charges or negatively charged ions on other molecules. So, for example, the oxygen atoms on other water molecules. This is what we refer to as a hydrogen bond. It's not a true bond like a covalent bond, it's a force of attraction between different molecules, and therefore it can be easily broken. However, there is a lot of strength when they act collectively. Many of the properties of water are due to the hydrogen bonding. The first property we need to be aware of is cohesion. This is where molecules of water stick together due to the hydrogen bonding between the hydrogen and oxygen atoms on different water molecules. This enables water to be transported through plants as a single column, as we'll look at in topic 3. It's also the reason why we see the phenomenon of surface tension. We get this where the water forms an interface with air and it enables pond skaters and other insects to walk across the water. The polar nature of water means that lots of other molecules can dissolve in it, and this is why it's referred to as a universal solvent. Many molecules are polar or charged in their nature and so can be attracted to the slight positive or slight negative charges within water. These molecules need to be able to dissolve in order to react or to be transported. Latent heat of vaporization is the amount of energy required for a substance to change state. In the case of water, this amount of energy is very large in order to break the hydrogen bonds between the molecules. This means that water has a cooling effect as it changes state, and we can see this in sweating and also in transpiration of plants. Specific heat capacity is the amount of energy required to change the temperature of a substance. In the case of water, this specific heat capacity is high, so it takes a lot of energy to increase or decrease the temperature of water. This means that water can buffer temperature changes, and this is one reason why we use water baths to stabilize the temperature of our lab experiments. It also means that aquatic environments can have a more stable temperature, and in fact the water within the atmosphere stabilizes the temperature of the whole planet. Some other properties of water that you may come across are that it's transparent. This means that the light can penetrate it to reach photosynthesizing aquatic plants. It's also less dense as a solid, so you'll be aware that ice floats. And what this means is that waterways, so ponds for example, can freeze over the top but remain liquid underneath. And the ice actually acts as an insulator to again stabilize the temperature deeper down. So now we look at condensation and hydrolysis reactions. We'll need to apply these reactions to our other biomolecules. So for condensation reactions, look for smaller molecules being joined together to form larger molecules. In this process, a bond is formed and water is produced. For a hydrolysis reaction, the larger molecules are being broken down into smaller molecules. This time, a bond is broken and water is used. So the final property of water that we need to refer to from the specification is that water is a metabolite. This means it's involved in cellular reactions. So from GCSE, we know that it's involved in photosynthesis and respiration, and now we can say that it has a role in condensation reactions and hydrolysis reactions. So to summarise the properties of water that we need to know from the specification, water has cohesive properties, it's a universal solvent, it has a large latent heat of vaporisation, a high specific heat capacity, and finally it's a metabolite.